Okay, so you taught science, but you had this calling to be an entertainer. So what drew you to the classroom? Let me do that. I want to talk because it takes a very special type of person to do that.
So here's the story about why I wanted to be a teacher.
Welcome back to the show. There's no telling where we'll go. So come and share a laugh on the Imp and Skizz podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Another episode and another guest on the show that we are extremely excited about. A lot of you actually have requested
huge request
for a while now, and we finally were able to get the one, the only, the amazing Cleo on the podcast. Welcome, Cleo.
Hi.
As Skizz would call you, and he probably will during the course of the podcast, Cleebert, just because he's got a pet name for everybody.
Don't make fun of me because I do that. This is my thing, and Cleo is Cleebert.
Do you see how offensive he got? I just stated a fact. I said Skizz has a pet name for everybody.
You said it like you were annoyed. I'm just kidding.
It was a really weird moment to get the nickname. Just like, do you mind if I call you Cleebert? And my brain was like,
Wait, he actually asked your permission? What? He didn't just do it? That's, wow, you should feel privileged.
And it's just stuck ever since.
Yeah.
And what's funny is whenever somebody hears it for the first time, like the first time Scar heard it, you can hear Scar say under his breath, he's all, Cleebert? What is that? But
Does that nickname stem from something?
Well, it kind of does. It stems from my buddy Paul has a good friend whose name is Clay, and he calls him Claybert. And for some reason, I was just hanging out, I was doing a collab with Cleo, and it just came out. It's Cleebert, and there we go. And I like it. I'm sticking with it. But hey, thank you for joining us and giving us your time, Cleo. We're very excited to dig in to who you are. So let's talk about who you are. Let's not presume everybody knows who Cleo is. Please take the floor for a minute and tell the world who you are and what you do.
Okay. I am your friendly neighborhood weirdo made good. I do Minecraft. I'm on Hermitcraft and do Minecraft YouTubers things for a living, and now I'm here. Yay!
Isn't it wild? Hermitcraft, you've been. I mean, you're like OG Hermitcraft, right?
I'm not actually OG. I'm not.
But you've been around since season 2, like longer than me, longer than me and Skizz put together. You've been doing it for quite some time. So I want to dig into like your history with Hermitcraft, what it was like when you started, and what it's like now, and compare this.
We'll get into that. Like.
We'll get into that later. So apparently we looked you up. We had to look you up and see all your channel details. You created your channel in 2011. So if my math's correct, that's like 13 years of doing YouTube stuff.
Man. That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you get started? Like what made you I love this question. It's like, what made you post your first video? Why?
Yeah.
I was a fairly hardcore WoW raider for a while. And I spent like 6 years in WoW, and then I quit cold turkey, and my best friend stayed. But gaming was like the way that we sort of connected. So I started my YouTube channel so that I could keep in contact. I could let him know what was going on in my life, because we don't live near each other. We're in different countries and stuff. And then people started watching for some reason.
Wow.
And and
that's super cool.
So hold on, WoW, we're talking World of Warcraft. And this is, you have to forgive my ignorance on this. I have extremely limited exposure to World of Warcraft, other than back an old school World of Warcraft, like when it was not what it is today, man. It was like, if you wanted to play with somebody, you needed to be on a LAN with them. Like you needed to physically be there to play against somebody. So are you talking about after that, when it became the world, like
when it was properly World of Warcraft, when it was MMO.
Okay,
that's when we started
MMO, massively multiplayer online. Is that what that stands for?
I'm wondering.
Something like that, I think. Okay, good. Okay, there was a question there. I'm hung up on the fact that you said you quit cold turkey as if it was some sort of addiction. Like a drug.
Yeah.
It was for a while, because it wasn't more of an addiction. It was another job, is what it was.
Wow.
So, no, when you're in like hardcore raiding, you like you organize like days of your life to go and raid with people, and it's not healthy and it's not good. And I just went, no, I can't do this anymore.
Okay.
And hold down a full-time job. So I decided to go onto YouTube and do another full-time job, but I didn't realize it at the time. So.
Well, I'll tell you right now, this is, like I said, I've never played this version of Warcraft. I've always wanted to, but I've avoided it because the tale I'm getting from Cleo right now is that it's a common one, is that it's not something that you do passively. It is like, it is an all-consuming thing. And I've always wanted to give it a go, but I haven't. But you said you quit because it was too much. But you mentioned you started doing YouTube to stay in contact with your friend?
Yeah, my best friend. Like I say, because we didn't. This was before like a lot of voice chat in game, because like we're talking 13 years ago, so we didn't really have voice chat. So it was a case of we had text chat, and it was just sort of like I just did videos. So like, hey, this is what I'm doing instead of WoW. Isn't it much more valid than playing WoW? Stop playing WoW. He's not ever stopped playing WoW.
Your YouTube channel started as staging an intervention for your friend.
Yeah,
It sounds like.
It felt like that for a while, but yeah, no.
So was it
playing.
Minecraft? Like
That's what I'm wondering.
when did Minecraft come about? Because I mean that's obviously what your channel's known for now.
I started I played Fable 3 for like 3 episodes and gave it up. And then I found Shadow of Israfel on the Yogscast. Okay. And I went, this sounds interesting. Let's play Minecraft for a bit. And then I found like the Super Hostile series, and then I met Joe. And that's sort of where things went off the rails in my life.
Well, that's what happens to most people that meet Joe.
Oh, jeez.
We'll have to have him on the show sometime soon so people can get to know him as well. But you and Joe have been close friends then since for a long, long time.
Yeah, there is a couple of videos that keep on going around, which is our first meeting. So our first, we didn't even speak to each other. Joe decided to make a video because there were, in the Super Hostile maps, me and Joe both did them, so we got like little shout outs. And then there was this arena. It was just like Zombie Cleo versus Joe Hills in that. And so he decided that, no, we're going to have a fight. And there's a video that goes out every so often that makes the rounds. Like, it's years old now. It's a few serious words for Zombie Cleo. And then I responded. And then we had a fight. So
you know what? It is making its rounds. I swear I just saw something like that pop up on my feed.
For
my
real?
Homepage. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check this
Joe
out.
looking really young, like super young, like he was a teenager. He used to look so much younger than he does now.
Which is weird. He doesn't look.
He still has a bit of a baby face.
He does have a baby face.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine. So okay, and then you said, Cleo, you said all of a sudden you noticed people started watching these videos, and here you are, 13 years later, 358,000 subs. I can't imagine you saw this coming. So when did you start to realize that this was turning into a thing, if you will?
I mean, like back in the day with like all the Minecraft stuff, obviously we didn't think Minecraft was going to last 13 years. So it was just like a random thing. And I thought, okay, this part of my life will be done with in a few years when Minecraft sort of goes out of the consciousness. But like I saw like the big servers start coming up, like your Minecrafts and your Hermitcrafts, and I thought, oh, now that'd be fun. And I never got invited. And it was just like, okay, maybe I'll do something else. And then Joe had to stage a coup to get me on Hermitcraft. So, and that's basically the story.
I need more than that. I need more than that.
Like,
I want to know
are we pulling back the curtain on some Hermitcraft drama? What is
let's go.
Here?
Let's
this
go.
is before our time, so I don't know anything about this.
Okay, so season 1, everything was sort of breaking, and then we all know that Azuma sort of stepped up and did his thing.
Yeah.
But as we all know, Hermitcraft is the most decisive group of people in the world. So
we'll talk more about your sarcasm later, but yes.
You'll experience more. So they were going, that people were just like, we should invite new people. And it was like, okay, we don't know what seed. We should invite these. We're okay with these people, but I don't want to make a decision. So Joe says, okay, I am going to commit a one-day coup and say, we're going to use this seed that we're all sort of arguing about, and we're going to invite these two people. And if you have any problems with that, you need to come and tell me. And then I'm going to relinquish power after I've decided I'm inviting these people. And it was me and Mumbo. So
whoa,
history was made.
That's fantastic.
Interesting.
And that was before season 2. So you joined the beginning of season 2?
Right at the beginning. I was terrified.
Nice.
You can see him. I don't recommend going back to season 2 videos. It was
do it,
very
everybody.
different.
Yeah, well,
I really wouldn't recommend it.
Listen, we had Jimmy on the show,
man.
and he
Poor
had a video out there of his 700 subscriber special. Okay, 700 subscribers, and he did a big old video on it. And at the time, it had I don't know. What do you think?
I don't remember.
1,200 views, maybe 500 views. I don't know. And we were like, all right, everybody blow it up, and it hit over 24,000 views overnight or something. So
Picked
it was
up in the algorithm.
Yeah,
after that.
so we're gonna have
great.
to go back and dig into.
Cleo's like, no,
Cleo's
Cleo's literally
archive.
unlisting it as we speak.
You're not too far off. Well, no, it's just it was. I'm gonna say I was much less family friendly then.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
And
So-
Hermitcraft didn't really have the family friendly thing. It was just a group of adults playing together.
Yeah.
So I ended up having Azuma come and speak to me about my language.
Yeah.
He
Well,
doesn't
now there's that video somebody made of Hermitcrafts. I don't know what they call it after dark or
Hermitcraft
something.
After Dark.
Yeah, and that's making its rounds. And yeah, there's a lot of the hermits when we first started. Were not PG.
Yeah, it's getting more and more rampant. I'm noticing more and more. The Hermitcraft is not
Since
PG.
you came on the server.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know what? It's a correlation, and there's not causation.
It's full cycle now, right? Full circle. Started off maybe not being fully PG, and then went to being PG over the last 6 or whatever years, and then now Skizz gets on the server, and nothing's
Come
nothing's
on!
safe.
I know.
To be
You know
fair,
what?
I don't think it's him. I think it's Scar.
Yes,
Scar
thank
has
you.
been a big culprit too. You're right.
He's so much worse than I am. I
Yeah.
love that.
And Etho. Etho's pretty bad.
What? You stop it. He is.
No,
is
no.
he?
Etho has the innuendos. Is it just
he
on my
does.
streams that he does this?
You-
He's the one that
haven't heard
he's
him.
the one that feeds Scar lines.
Mm.
And Scar
see.
He
will just
does.
go, yes.
yeah, he's an instigator, is what he
Instigator.
is.
He's just poking and prodding.
Yeah, I remember. Well, I was a few life series ago, and we'll dive a little bit more into the life series. But there was a time where my team and Cleo's team was having a battle, and she had told her team to attack me, and I ran away, and I came running to you guys. I said they're attacking me, and Tango says, "Well, attack them back." I said, "Well, I can't beat off 4 people," and he just starts losing his mind, and you can hear Etho very subtly in the background say, "Watch your mouth, Skizz." He's just
Yeah, no, he's always the voice of reason.
yeah, that's why I'm shocked to hear this.
Yeah,
No,
for sure.
Etho likes to hide it much better than I think most people realize.
Yeah.
He's got that
I
side.
can agree with that. So, all right, so Cleo, we got you're rocking over 36 million views on your channel to date, and all these 36 million views are people who know you as Zombie Cleo. I got it for me. I got to know the backstory to that name, Zombie Cleo.
Well, we're going back to the WoW thing again. I was on a roleplay server because I'm a story nerd, and I was playing an undead character called Cleophas, and that's literally where it came from, Zombie Cleo.
Okay.
Wait, that character was a zombie?
Yeah, that character was an undead, yeah.
Ah. So Cleo moves into Minecraft.
And
carries it
luckily
on.
for you, there's a zombie mob.
There's a
in
zombie mob in there, becomes Zombie
Yeah, I
Cleo.
assumed it had something
planned.
to do with
It's just
it
planned,
was your
yeah.
favorite mob in Minecraft
It
or
was
something, but it
planned.
started way before that. Wow, that's amazing.
Well, I got to tell you, I want to say something to you, Cleo, because I want to see if you can provide some sort of weird insight on this. I'm trying to figure out, you're probably going to be like, I don't know how to really answer that because it's so natural or whatever. But I've had the good fortune of working with a lot of different Minecrafters, and obviously Hermitcraft has been a blast. The life series has been a blast. And I got to be honest, you're probably top 3 to 5 of all the people I've worked with. And keep in mind, I've worked with a lot of collaborators today in regards to the speed of your wit. You are so lightning fast with your ability to process what happened in front of you or what you heard in front of you and create very, very clever banter out of it. Just a couple examples would be, I think you were talking to Etho, was the absent father. You said, if you're going to be an absent father, could you at least be absent? That was so funny. And then in this last live series where, Mumbo and I were dead, we were zombies, and Jem had the skill of being able to talk to us. And she comes up to you and says, hey, listen, I can hear Mumbo and Skizz. She barely got the sentence out. And you're all, I'm sorry about that. And I was right there. And it was so, Mumbo and I were shocked because it was so funny and so quick. But you said it so nonchalantly. It was almost like you didn't even know you said it, right? So my point being this is that your ability to, like I said, process what's in front of you and come back with lightning fast wit is pretty much second to none. Have you always been that way? Do you have a history in theater? Like, what am I dealing with here? Because it's not natural.
I have a history with a family that shows affection by throwing insults.
Okay. All right. Very good.
So if I'm insulting you, that means I'm comfortable around you and I'm happy to just be rude about you. But like, I used to be a teacher. So like having the ability to snap back and be coherent is that skill set. It's like you need to be able to think on an instant, and then because you're both dads, you know what kids are like. They come at you and they try and make excuses for their behavior, and you have to see in the instant that excuse is rubbish, and you have to be able to speak to people and tell them that they're wrong kindly, or at least be amusing, because people who are laughing tend to be less offended.
Okay, very good.
What age range of students did you have, if you don't mind me asking?
I have taught from 4-year-olds to 18-year-olds.
Wow.
Whoa. How many years were you a teacher?
I was a teacher for 15 years.
Oh my goodness gracious. See, my wife has been a teacher for over 20 years. So like you're a seasoned veteran in it. She's a seasoned veteran in it. And I can see what you're talking about, because she does have to have that skill set as well. I want to dance with you a little bit here for a second. If you remember, because yes, you have the wit, but when we were doing, when I was doing the affirmations in that one life series, and I got to you, and I have to study people for a while before I'm able to do that. And for yours, I referred to you as fierce. Mm-hmm. And it still to this day is very, very fitting. And it was meant, and it is to this day also a real compliment for who you are. And I see somebody as fierce as somebody who you want them on your team. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You want them on your side. You don't want to be facing that person. And it really is, it's in how you carry yourself, and it's how you speak and everything. The fierceness, does that also come from teaching? Because you got to be strong this day and age to be a teacher. And even, I don't know how long ago you did it, but even then.
It doesn't really come from the teaching. What you are referring to as fierceness is the way I carry myself. And that was a defense mechanism as a child, because I got bullied quite a lot when I was younger. And after a while of that, you either get ground down by it or you just front up to everything. And I think you can probably see when somebody I don't really go for people that often, but if somebody comes for me, I match their energy. And that's how I've survived. But you're wrong. You don't match their energy. You come back tenfold. And I like that. And because you and I are very similar. Okay, let's go back to that live series. Mm-hmm. The destruction of Bread Bridge, that was because they killed our cow on day one.
Like that's what that went back. They killed our cow,
Yeah,
and
you get it.
I was like, "This will come back to you tenfold," and it did. It was just so that's when I was like, "This is where like it's almost like Cleo's like my sister because I completely understand. This is what I will. I said because Cleo was in my group with Tango and." Then she left to be with Etho, and I said, "You broke my heart." She said, "I'll break your legs." I was like, "Whoa!"
You came for me. What can I say? It's what we do.
Yeah,
it was good. So that's a defense mechanism. Okay, very very good. So let's talk a little bit about the VTuber stuff. Can you So when you because you do, are you still streaming? I'm just not. I
stream.
Yeah. Yeah,
I raid you constantly, Skizz. You're the only person.
You do. I just my brain's like
streaming when I finish.
I
just raided you 5 minutes
ago. I know. I just realized that's what that was because I never get to raid Cleo because of the time difference and everything. So you are still, and you're doing the VTuber thing. Do you do it every time? I'm actually not familiar. With it every time.
I think it's really important to have a personification of who you are as like a stamp on like things like streaming and stuff. And I've not had that because I don't do face cam because, well, for a start, it was like the teaching thing. And then like I'm in my 40s now and I just like, I don't feel comfortable doing that. So I've done, I like the VTuber was like a way to get a bit of me on the screen that people could relate to. And because I think that's important. So yeah,
of course. Yeah,
makes perfect sense. In fact, your streams are like highly interactive, right? Like people joining a horde, and there's lots of cool stuff that goes on. Very interactive. Yeah, very interactive stream. How did all that come about? Like, do you have a passion for adding that tech to your streams? Because like that stuff's not easy. I dabble in it from here and there.
That stuff is not easy. But I have my partner who is called Cam. They have a passion for that sort of stuff, and they was just sort of like, well, how about you do this sort of thing? And they've been doing all my design work, and they've been adding like little bits of automation to the stream. So like it's I would love to be able to do that sort of stuff myself, and like with their help I've been able to get better at it. But like they program bots and stuff like as part of their whole stream thing, so it's sort of come over as
so you partner streams as well.
Yeah, they do.
Very cool. How do you manage that? I mean, like, I don't want to get into details of relationship or anything, but are you splitting streaming schedules so that you can like watch each other's streams and stuff like that?
We're very different kind of streamers. They are a moderator in my stream. I'm not allowed to be a moderator in their stream because I'm too soft.
What? Wait, hold on. That doesn't compute.
Yeah,
but the sarcasm again, isn't it?
No, that's genuine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am very forgiving of people. I want to believe the best of people.
Okay.
So if somebody gives me an excuse, I will listen to the excuses. But some people you can't listen to their excuses because they're just awful, and you can't always believe the best of people. So
yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's super cool though. I mean, because like I said, I've tuned into, I've rated you before and tuned into the stream for a while, and I'm just like, whoa, Cleo's got so much going on here. And we used to be on Mixer back in the day that had like built-in interactive stuff, and we were able to do a lot of that stuff. And I haven't done as much since I moved from Mixer to Twitch, and I tuned into your stream. And I'm like, whoa, all this stuff is still very possible and very cool. Your viewers must absolutely love that, being able to like interact with you directly in the stream and make noises go off and jump scares and all that kind of stuff.
You have to be very circumspect with what you allow, because when you're a smaller streamer, you can do a lot more, and you can have bits and redeems and all that sort of stuff going on pretty much constantly because you have time to react to the chat. When you get slightly bigger, and I would put myself in the slightly bigger category, you have to be able to still play the game, because that's what they're there for. They're there for that. And the other stuff is like a little sprinkling. It's the icing on the cake. It's not the cake.
Yeah.
You have to be very conscious of that. But yeah, like the whole like the bot we use is called Mix It Up, which I think came from Mixer. So that makes sense. So yeah.
You know, that's a good, I love that the metaphor that all the supplemental stuff is the icing on the cake. And you can take that a step further, because I've seen some streams where it's pretty much just icing, where it's just so much noise and so much interaction, and there's no real meat going on. And so I can't imagine ordering a slice of cake and just getting a mound of icing. And that's sometimes what it is. So Cleo does have a very good balance there. But it makes me wonder, what do you have a preference? Because I got to be honest with you, this whole journey, and I'm loving every bit of it, I can't quite decide what I prefer more, streaming or creating videos, because I love both of them so much. Do you have a preference, left or right, on that?
I didn't stream until like 3 years ago at all. Ren actually made me start streaming, because he was just sort of like, you've got to do it. It's the only way to get out of teaching. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. And he was correct. But I like the artistry of creating a video, finding the through line. Like, I hate editing. Editing is the worst. I can tell a story, but I hate editing. But I like the interaction. I think I'm leaning more towards, I prefer streaming, because I get to talk to people. I get to make running jokes. I get to weave other people into the narrative. Yeah. And I think that's what, like, streaming, it's all art. It's just my art. I'm a storyteller. As you're aware, I'm not the best builder. I'm not the best PvPer at all, for example. But I do know how to tell a story. And I think that's the important part about Minecraft. Because, my hottest take about Minecraft is that Minecraft isn't a game, it's a toolbox. So,
that's a good point.
I look at that too that way. Like when we talk about the server, you know, this world that we play in, I don't think about it as like a world. I think about it as a stage, right? Like we're creating, when we build, we're creating the props, the backdrop on a stage to tell the story on. Really, that's all it is. Yeah. And so that's kind of the way I think about it too. But I'm with you on the streaming thing, because you get a chance to actually, it's the best chance we have to have dialogue that's sort of back and forth with our viewers, you know, to where they can type something, we can read it, we can respond, they can tell us what's going on in their lives. And obviously, you know, we're live, so we're, I don't know if you babble as much as I do, but I basically tell every detail of my life and sometimes regret it. Yeah. But like it feels much more connected than YouTube, to where we just create it, put the video out there, and sure, we'll get some comments, but it never really feels like there's a connection made as much as there is. You know, I'll read comments and get to know people through YouTube, but not as much as is on Twitch, to where there's constant back and forth. I say something, they respond, and there's a lot of that. And so I go through periods to where I'm like really, really in love with streaming. That's all I want to do. I don't even, I like, when I go to make videos, I'm just like, ugh, you know, I'm not feeling it. And then I'll bounce to the other side all of a sudden, and I'll be like all about making videos. And I've kind of balanced myself over my career, if you will, by kind of going back and forth. And right now I'm actually like in the middle, like for the first time in a while, I'm like straight dead in the middle.
Yeah, and it's a balance that we're always trying to seek, and I stand by it when I'm like, I actually don't know which one I like more, and I'm with Cleo on, I love the artistry of making the videos, and I actually do enjoy the editing, but I think it's because I put a lot of my story is driven through the cadence of the editing, and so I think that's why I like that, and then I can understand the part of the editing that I don't like, and I can see how that can become mundane and everything, but I struggle to understand which one I like more, but I like where Cleo's coming from.
I keep hearing Doc's voice when you say editing. I don't like to do anything.
Doc, yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Cleo, you and I, that my very first collab in Hermitcraft was with you, and you, me, Tango, Doc, and who else was with it? Oh, and Beef. Yeah. I feel like there's one other person, but I don't know. But I remember that, and this is something I don't think I ever got to tell you, Cleo, but like you you did something pretty special on that day one of Hermitcraft for me. No. And you're not aware of this, but it was, I'm not somebody who gets nervous, but I was a little bit nervous. It was my very first day on Hermitcraft, and everybody was going to do their thing. And I was just like, I'm just going to just be me and just let's see what happens. And, it was the silliest thing. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I got into like Doc and I were working together to take out a skelly or something like that. I don't know. And I made one of my weird, stupid noises where I went, or something to that effect. I don't even know what it was. And Cleo just starts cracking up and she says, I'm so glad you're on the server. It was like so friggin' genuine. And it was like in that moment, I can't quite explain what it was, but all of my apprehension out the window. So like old school teacher Cleo just came through, and like I was like a student of hers, and just, like it was my first day of school and I was nervous, and I all of a sudden wasn't nervous anymore. Those few words you said to me, Cleo, and it just, all my tension just washed off me, and I was off to a great start because of you. So so thank you for that. So I'm glad to have you here to tell that.
I actually remembered that. I actually remember saying that because we have this, I'm not going to go into particular server details and topics and stuff, but when your name first got mentioned as a person, it was just like, yes, Skizz would be perfect because it's just, I just have a hoot when you're around. It's just like the most fun time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because I feel like we match energies a lot. You say stupid things and I laugh a lot. And that's
well
fair.
Said. Perfect.
Fair. That's the exact truth of the matter.
Do you remember the first collab that you did with Skizz? Was it the Life series?
Oh.
Yeah.
Or was it before that?
I feel like it was.
We didn't really talk in like Third Life that much. I do remember you killing me, but that was about it.
Yeah.
Oh, you ended our season?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You jerk.
Oh, that was amazing. I ended the very first season ever because Jimmy was the first one out in the first series, and I was the one who killed him. And I'm pretty sure the second person out was Cleo, and I was the one who killed her. It was amazing.
Wow. I saw Red, and I went after Ren, and you had to protect your boy.
Yeah. And there was
not
no
bitter
warning.
about. Actually, I'm not bitter about it, but
No.
I can pretend. We can hold a grudge. It'll be fun.
We can. It's all pseudo grudge. It's all cartoon grudge, but it is still something to where. So the Life series, I kind of wanted to dig into this a little bit too, to really get into the Life series, because the Life series is at its peak. It's an absolute improv. It's a stage of complete improv, on the spot improv, no retakes, just ready, set, go, no scripting, nothing. And you're obviously very, very, very good at it, and it's a lot of fun to do. But because you're good at it, I have no choice but to ask. When you were little, did you see yourself? I know you ended up becoming a teacher, but was there any point where you saw yourself being in the world of entertainment? You obviously have the gift and you obviously enjoy it. So something tells me at some point in your life, you had to think that this was something that you wanted to do.
I was a theatre kid. All the
there
way
we
through
go.
High school. I did choir. I did music. I was that kid.
All about the arts.
Yeah.
Very cool.
What did you teach as a teacher?
Science.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
We just had a science teacher on here. That is so fascinating to me. Okay, so you taught science, but you had this calling to be an entertainer. So what drew you to the classroom? Let me do that. I want to talk, because it takes a very, very special type of person to do that.
So here's the story about why I wanted to be a teacher. I was a junior geotechnical engineer because my degree is in geology, and I did something called trial pitting, and we happened to have to do some work outside of school. So I was there with a big JCB doing trial pitting, and there was a teacher. I feel really bad about this because now, being a teacher, I know exactly what was going through her mind. But she was losing it on these kids, just absolutely going bananas. And I just looked and I went, I can do better than that. And that's Looking back at it now, it's very much like I was outside with a giant JCB and these kids were 6 years old. I know exactly what was happening in that classroom now, and I feel quite bad. But yeah, that's the story of how I became a teacher.
So, and then you went on to do it for 15 years, and I want to ask you something here. So you left teaching how many years ago? Let me start there.
3 years ago.
So that's where the streaming thing comes in. Okay, so you told me that Ren said to you, the only way you're going to be able to leave the classroom is if you start streaming, which to me would suggest you had been mentioning wanting to leave the classroom, and 15 years is a long time to pretty much do anything. But can you open up a little bit in regards to why you were compelled to leave the classroom? Because I can tell you this. I can tell you, being married to a teacher for as long as I have been, and I don't know the cultural differences or how they apply, but the classroom today in the last 10 years is not what it was 30, 40, 50 years ago. The respect is not there. It's not just that the kids are entitled anymore. It's that the parents are also entitled. I'm curious, what is your take on this? Why were you compelled to leave the classroom? Was it just because it had become redundant, or was it becoming a bit insufferable, or what are we dealing with?
Well, the reason why I left the classroom is because I wanted to do this.
Okay.
Your perspective is 100% valid, and it is hard work and it's thankless work, and I think we're a bit better off in the UK than American teachers are. But I never had problems with the children. Like, the children were never my issue. My issue was always with, let's call it the senior leadership team.
Oh boy, you and my wife would get along so well, so well. It's crazy to me. This is because we had who do we have on the show? Was it Lizzie that wanted to be a teacher?
Lizzie had wanted to be a teacher. Yeah.
Yeah, and she did like what's it called, Cleo, when you shadow a teacher for a while? Like it's like a student teacher or something like that. I don't quite remember, but she did it for a little bit. Yeah. And she did it for a little bit, and she's like, that job is really hard because it is a lot of hours. It's very, very thankless. It takes a very special type of person to do it. But let me ask you this and be totally honest. You're doing the great YouTube stuff now. I know how rewarding it can be too. Do you miss teaching at all?
I do.
Yeah.
I miss, it's less the teaching part. It's more the hearing what kids, like I say, I taught like the full range. I mostly taught teenagers, and then I moved into younger later in my career. But the things that come out of their mouths is great. And it's like the funniest job you can have if it wasn't for all the other stuff. Hanging out with kids is so much fun, and I would love to go and have like a volunteer position, just hanging out with kids and just teaching them something like chill. But
someday they'll have a class on how to be a YouTuber, and you can go teach them.
Yeah, perfect world.
Like when I was leaving my last school, I actually told them that I was going to leave to do YouTube full time. I brought in my plaque. I hid the name on my 1K plaque, 100K plaque, and I showed it to them, and it was just sort of like, I was the most popular person in that school for like the last day of my career. But like for example, one of the things that one of the kids said to me, it's all so ingrained in them now. They know things. But my funniest moment was when we were in the pandemic. I had a small group of children that I was working with because I had to go in, and then like other teachers did online classes. But I was with the looked after children, and one of them said to me, I said, "Stop it with that mumbo jumbo." And one kid looked at me and went, "Mumbo jumbo, that's a YouTuber." And I went, "Is it?"
Is it? Meanwhile, yeah, I just recorded a clip with him last night.
Yeah,
but can't tell you that. I do want to ask, like, even though you never like show your face or anything, I mean, your voice is pretty indistinguishable.
It's very
Were
unique.
you ever called out by someone recognizing your voice in the classroom? Or anywhere, yeah.
Not in the classroom. Like there are people in my YouTube comments that go, "You used to be my teacher," and then they would give me the wrong name. And it's just sort of like, no one's ever like I sound like my voice is very like, probably not to you guys because I'm English, but in England, my voice is the the Midwestern accent effectively. It's like I have no accent. I'm vaguely Southern, so I sound like a lot of people.
Okay.
See, I wouldn't be able to pick up on that. Like I love all the accents over there. You know what I mean? But they can really tell the difference between each other. I can't necessarily tell the difference that much. I just like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard a few differences, especially like Essex has a very
Essex is
distinct
Essex is
kind
really
of
strong.
Yeah, strong. Yeah.
It's strong, and it's like it is strong, but they also, I don't know how to say it, but they say things. I don't want to use the word wrong, but they say things wrong. Like they don't like instead of saying like with, they'll say whiff. And that's normal.
With.
And that's what it is. And I'm like, that's not, how would you spell that? You know, like it's weird to me. So
And then they spell it
like
S.
whiff. Yeah. It's just, it makes no sense. I don't understand it. And I
they
like
spell
it.
like they said. I love
Yeah.
it.
But I do like it though. It's very proper.
So wow, you haven't gotten called out. Like I'm assuming after 15 years, and you've probably had, I can't even do the math, but thousands of students.
Yeah. No one's
not
clocked me.
one clocked you on the voice.
Not even the child that knew who Mumbo Jumbo was clocked me.
That's crazy. Yeah. Because obviously, if they watch Mumbo Jumbo, I'm sure they've come across a few clips that you were in.
Yeah.
So that would have been wild to be like, yeah, well, ever heard of Zombie Cleo? Mm-hmm.
Isn't that crazy? It's. I mean, my wife can't even talk about Hermitcraft at her. Like she has students talk about Hermitcraft, and she won't mention that I'm on it now because it happened. All happened kind of quick. So. But so she is, this is interesting. And I really, I want to tell you, Cleo, I really liked, not that it was a test, but I really liked your answer that you do miss the classroom because that's indicative that you had a real passion to do that. It may have started with this whole, like, I can do that better, but clearly you enjoyed it and you miss the kids and you miss all that. Let me go down sort of a theoretical avenue here. If Cleo doesn't see that teacher screaming at these students and also doesn't discover, World of Warcraft or have any reason to do YouTube, what's Cleo doing today?
That's an interesting question. I think I'd probably go back to writing.
That makes sense.
Back to writing. You were writing.
Yeah, I know. Like I spent like my late teen to early 20s writing like stories, novels, and stuff. I'd like to think that I
we're
would
talking
go back
science fiction or what kind?
It's usually fantasy, but science fiction.
Fantasy?
There was a bit of science fiction as well.
Oh,
so
that's
yeah.
perfect. Yeah, that makes so much sense. I mean, all the talking about loving to be a storyteller, and we've seen, through your content as well. Now, you created a very cool thing last season, and I wish we had done more of it, but we ran out of time. The Blood on the Clock Tower. That was based off of a game that you had played like IRL, right, with friends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a board game nerd.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So along those same lines, like I was thinking, does that mean you're also into like D&D and things like that? Yeah. Is it something you practice? You do? Okay, go ahead.
I GM I have a small group of friends that I GM for every Saturday, which is why I don't do anything Hermitcraft related on a Saturday unless it's prearranged.
That is your day. Your Saturday is DMing.
D&D. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool. We're discovering more and more hermits that are into D&D.
Okay.
And every time it comes up, we're like, oh yeah, we should look into it. Maybe it's something we'd be into. Tango definitely.
So I'm going to tell you, Cleo, I went over to Tango's house a couple of weeks ago because he lives not that far from us. I went over to his house just to hang out for a small tick. And I look, and I'm a huge poker player, and I saw what I thought was a poker table. And I was like, are you a poker player? And then I go and I touch the table and I'm like, oh, that's not what I thought it was. That's glass. What is this? And he goes, that's my D&D table. And it was a plasma and it was a flat screen TV. I don't know why that's needed, but I don't understand D&D. But the TV, it's the table was a TV, and it was what supplemented all the D&D activities. So he's huge. I don't know if you and him have ever talked about this, but he's huge.
I don't think
into it
we
as well.
have. No. but I play online with my friends because we're all sort of dotted around. So yeah, I use basically television screen to show them stuff as well. So yeah, it's wonderful. It's cool. so I also like being the DM because it's my world that they're experiencing, and they like, I introduce the bad guys and I tell them, like, you know, what they react to the world. I don't force things on them because that's less fun. But they come up with they come up with stupid jokes, and my favorite thing to do is they come up with a stupid joke and it becomes a massive plot point in the world. For example, it was just sort of like, well, what god do you worship? And they came up with the name Smungo, and I'm just like, right, because they're stupid. And then they say, what's he the god of? He's the god of teeth. So,
what? This is
welcome
okay.
to D&D. It's ridiculous. But now that's a whole plot point in my game where he's like, it's about devouring the world. It's a whole religion about that. So,
and are you coming up with that on the spot? Like, are you responding on the spot and creating the lore like in real time, or do you come back a week later? Unreal.
Yeah.
Okay, it makes sense now. The quick wit is making a lot more sense now.
Yeah, you're practicing that every week. So, I mean, I can imagine a lot of that creativity that you put into coming up with the stories, the lore, the campaigns, and all that stuff for D&D works itself into the content you create in Minecraft and on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at my current village, which is 3 buildings now. I've got 3 buildings of a village.
I feel that with me too.
But the whole point of that village is that the story is the villagers dug too greedily and too deep. There's that whole massive mine underneath that's got a creature in it, and if you look in those 2 houses, there's little notes that I've put in where they're communicating with each other, and they're just sort of like, oh, I need these charged crystals. And you'll find, like, in the wizard's tower, there's a box of charged crystals waiting for collection. And they're all trying to form a defense. So it's the little touches. It's the naming of the boxes. It's the, you know, like the box of crystals is called lead-lined box, for example. It's using all the tools that we have in Minecraft to tell a narrative without actually saying, look at it, rubbing their nose in it. And it's like, look at it, it's story. You will appreciate it.
It's so amazing. Like, we've talked about Minecraft being used in many different ways to do many different things. One thing that I didn't piece together until just right now is you're writing your fantasy novel in Minecraft by what you're building and the story you're telling in the season. Like, you're writing your book. Like, you're telling that story. You're talking all the crystals and all this stuff. It was something you would envision and write about if you were to go back to being an author, instead of building and creating in the story inside of Hermitcraft. That's very interesting.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, when I was at Tango's house and I was looking at the D&D stuff, I was asking him, like, because I still to this day, I'll admit, I don't really understand it. And I said, so what is the objective here? He's like, anything. I'm like, what does that mean? What do you do? He goes, anything. I don't, Tango, what does that mean? Like, how do you play the game? He's like, you can do anything you want. I'm like, I can set your house on fire? Like, what am I dealing with here? And it's taken me forever. And now talking to Cleo, it's like, it's just a world. It's just a giant sandbox of story is what I'm gathering here. And this is clearly where this is like you said, Impulse. This is, you know, Cleo's been working and exercising that wit every week now. It's all making sense to me. Everything. Yeah. Cleo was theater. Cleo loves D&D. It's not really that shocking anymore that she is able to have the wit she has, and the improv is on point and it's super funny. And I can appreciate it so very, very much. I love bantering with Cleo. Any chance I get, I love it, because to me, because I also did theater, and I also I've been told enough now that my wit actually is fast enough that I think when Cleo and I banter, it's like a tennis match. You know what I mean? I love the bam, 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 back and forth, and it's just a ton of fun. So I'm looking forward to much more of that. I can't believe there's not been actual D&D on the Hermitcraft server yet.
At this point, there's enough hermits that I think are into D&D that, or are interested and would like to learn more about it. That
If you want to learn more, I'm happy to do like one-shots, maybe off the server at first, but you know, I'm happy to run stuff.
Oh, that could be very interesting to do. Cleo, there's something I've been wanting to talk to you a little bit about because you said it's been 3 years since you went to being a full-time content creator. And I remember that you and I were, at the time, the last hermits to still be working like a full-time job outside of being a hermit. And I remember when you started talking about going full-time, I was also considering it, you know, in quitting our careers, right? We both had careers that we worked many, many years in. And I remember it being such a very difficult decision. There was a lot of stress involved. There was a lot of, am I going to be able to still provide and put food on the table and all that kind of stuff, roof over the head and all that stuff. Was that going on in your world too? Was that stress there, or did you feel comfortable making that decision?
I don't think anyone's ever comfortable about leaving the known to go to the unknown.
Absolutely.
But we all have different like levels of fear about I mean, you're a family person. I don't have a family. I just have to take care of the cats. So I didn't really have that I need to provide for someone. My thing was, my mum, who has since passed, was she had leukemia for like 3 years at that point, and it was getting towards the end, and I wanted to spend more time with my mother, but I couldn't do that and still teach because it was just like, you have a commitment. So I had to leave. Like, that's part of the reason why I left, but the reason, like having the streaming become lucrative and having that safety net was the reason why I could make that step that was best for me and my family. So
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, that's one nice thing about being a content creator is we have flexible hours where we're kind of our own boss, if you will, right? And so that when you need that time to take the time off to spend with family and stuff, you can do so, right? So I remember you and I at the same. We were really close too. I think I think you went right before.
I think
me,
I went.
If I remember.
I think I went like a month or so before you.
Yeah. And
then
I think
Wow.
you going full time actually is what was like my final thing that I'm like, I'm the last hermit to go full time. Yeah, I can't be the only hermit to not be a full time content creator. I've been thinking about this for a long time. And I was scared. I'll be honest. I mean, I was a nervous wreck. I was scared to death to give up the job that I had went to school for, that I'd worked for 17 years and was a very comfortable job. I was still happy at it, but I was in the same boat as you. From what you mentioned earlier, was my passion had changed from that career, that job, to really, really wanting to do something in the content creation world. And it wasn't something I ever saw coming. And so that was scary, you know, because it's like, I never envisioned I would go pay for a college degree and then stop using it. You know what I mean? Like, so all those things were going through my head, but like, honestly, you being brave enough to pull the trigger and transition to full-time content creator was a big inspiration for me in pulling my own trigger. So I want to thank you for that, because I wasn't brave at the time.
I don't think I was feeling very brave at the time either. But the response to it was like amazing, because of course I used it. I used the words "I quit" in the announcement video. It is my most viewed video to date. I quit, and then like 3 days later, I put in little words and my teaching job, just because I felt bad about. Like, I hate that. That is the one thing that I dislike about YouTube, is all the fishing for views. It's just like, I can't genuinely do the like, favorite, subscribe, ring the bell. I can't do that. It makes me cringe. So like I have to, like, if I've done it once in the past 3 years and it was just like favorite, ring the bell, give me your firstborn child. It's like I can't do it seriously.
Make a joke out of it so it
awful.
doesn't feel so cringe. I mean, that's something to be said about your character and who you are, and I think that's also something that I'm hoping more viewers are going to gravitate towards, is just being genuine, right? Like you genuinely feel like there's something icky about doing that, you know, doing the baiting and all that, you know, all the self-promotion stuff feels a bit icky at times and a bit shameless, right? It's nice that you like follow through with that feeling and it's like, I don't like that, I'm not going to do that, even though you feel this pressure to like, oh, if I don't play this right, then I might not have a long career. You know what I mean?
I don't
There's
think
this
it's
weird
icky.
middle ground.
I don't do it, but I don't necessarily think it's icky. I just don't. I used to do it, and then I just stopped all of a sudden. I was like, if they want to sub, they're going to click it. You know what I mean? I'm just like, that's it. And
I don't
then
mind.
go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
I was
go.
like, I don't mind if other people do it. That doesn't bother me. For me, it's just sort of like, they're making a paycheck. You get that money, you know? And it's like, that's fine. If I'm doing it, that feels wrong.
Yeah,
So-
I want to be clear. When I said icky, I wasn't saying the act of doing that is icky.
No.
I'm saying it felt icky to the person
me.
doing
Oh
it.
yeah.
So when Cleo did the one-time follow, like, and subscribe or whatever, it felt icky that Cleo threw the joke on the end to kind of soften it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where I was going with that. But yeah, I totally get you. And I've been all over the place with that. You know, sometimes you feel the pressure of like, oh no, you know, things are going down. I must not be playing the game properly. I need to step it up and be more YouTuber-y, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
But then again, I roll as soon as I do it, I'm like, nope, didn't like that. Didn't feel right to me. You know, I wanna just be me, be more genuine. And like Skizz said, if they like it, they know. Hit the button.
Yeah, I mean, I've
tell
never
them.
been too fussed with the numbers. I mean, I'm on the lower end of the Hermitcraft scale, so I think that's actually given me more freedom with not to worry about the numbers because I'm doing okay, you know. So I don't necessarily feel the need to do that stuff because when like the unsubscribe bot comes out, I don't lose that many people. So when big things happen with numbers, I'm less concerned with it.
That's good.
My viewers are much more concerned about my numbers than me. It's all the like, you should be having more viewers. Like it's that sort of thing, the comments that I get. And it's just like, I just like performing for the people
There
that
it
enjoy
is.
what I'm doing.
Right there. That's
a
what I love to
compliment.
hear.
That's a compliment,
That's a
though,
huge
coming from the
compliment.
viewers, because like to them, they're saying, you know, we find you so amazing. It's a shame that more people don't know about you.
Yeah, and they're
know?
flabbergasted too.
Yeah.
They're like, how do you not have 1 million views? Like they're, you know, that's what they're doing. But what I like that I'm hearing from you, Cleo, is just your very healthy disposition on the whole thing. The numbers, like really burying ourselves in the numbers. That is a what a pit that can be.
Death spiral.
And it's and it'll just go. And the fact that you're just like, you know what, I'm here to do something that I enjoy, and I'm just going to keep doing that thing. And now you're happy. Now
Super
you're good.
healthy.
It's very very good.
Yeah, I've tripped into that pit many a times, and it is not a fun pit to try to climb out of.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I've done the same. It's like when you're starting out, it's all about the numbers. It's a numbers game, and then it's just like I don't enjoy that part of it. I just enjoy the creating the stuff, and I admit that I am an acquired taste. There are people out there that are gonna hate my guts, and that's okay.
What? I'm not buying it.
Oh yeah. Oh, people
not
tell
buying
me that they hate my guts. It's fine. I understand.
Well, those people
but
are
like I
idiots. There, I said it.
I agree. I agree. It's a lack of intelligence on their part. I know.
yeah.
But like, I'm never gonna get like the 100 million subscribers. That's not my fate. My fate is doing something that I enjoy for the people that enjoy me, and I think that's the important part.
See, and that's why you're right up there with people like B-Dubs, who you're going to outlive all of us. You know what I mean? Like he has a healthy disposition on this whole thing as well, and that's why that's That's very good. Let me ask you, are you through and through, do you consider yourself, I feel like the answer is yes, but do you consider yourself a gamer, just in general, a gamer?
Yeah, I am very much a gamer.
Okay. So are you doing anything else other than, like, are you streaming anything else? Or are you playing games? I never play games for fun. Does Cleo?
I play games for fun, yes. Specific games that help chill me out. But I also I fell into that trap for a long time after I went full time. It's just like, I've got to play everything, and it's got to be, I've either only got to play Hermitcraft, and it's got to be just Hermitcraft focused, which for the beginning I think is valid. But like my streams are very I played a ridiculous little indie game yesterday on stream. And the thing is, when I do that, I'm playing it for me, but the viewers that I have on my stream, particularly on my stream, are there for me. And because I make the stupid jokes that I make, and I do the silly things that I do, and I have the interaction, they're there for that experience. They're not necessarily there for the game. I get a bigger audience when I do Hermitcraft, obviously, but I feel like I can play whatever I want, and I'm going to get the same sort of people back every time, because they're also friendly neighborhood weirdos. So
they're there for Cleo. They're not there for the game. Yeah, I gotcha.
That's a beautiful spot to be in.
Yeah.
Because, even though 10 years ago we thought Minecraft was going to be dead in a year or two max, and here we are 10 years later and it's still thriving. We still don't know when that's going to end. And it would be nice to still have viewers want to watch whatever the next thing is that we end up doing. Or even if we do variety, variety streamers are popular as well. And like you said, you play some different games and you still get the people showing up and watching you. So that's a good thing to know that you'll be around regardless of the game that you end up playing.
Might have to go back to the job, but I'll still be here.
Yeah. So where is, I gotta know. It's just Impulse hates it when I ask this question, but I gotta do it.
I feel like Cleo knew this was coming.
Where is Cleo in 10 years?
Where am I in 10 years? I think I'm still doing this.
Yes! Did you hear how quick and confident that was? I like that a lot. We have a lot of people.
Like I say, I might have to take a day job if things go down the toilet, but I genuinely think that I'm never going to stop creating stuff. And I know kind of how the YouTube algorithm works regardless. So, I have lots of different projects and lots of different passions. Even if Hermitcraft dies tomorrow, I've got my little audience. I've got my little weird hobbies. I can start again if I need to. I don't want to, but I could. And I could do weird little videos for the rest of my life if I needed to. And take a part-time job. It'll be fine. I'll be fine.
I love that.
I do too.
I love that. It'll be fine. Because at the end of the day, what's the worst that's going to happen, right? We can still make the videos and there will still be people watching, we hope, but at the end of the day, we'll figure it out and we'll find something that we're passionate about to make the income if we need to do that. And we're good.
Yeah.
You know?
Cleo's got it. They don't come for whatever medium is happening. It's not the Minecraft. It's not this. They come for Cleo. And so that means that the medium can change and on a whim. You know what I mean? And they're going to come for Cleo.
Yeah.
That's what that's for. That's good.
That's solid.
Yeah.
Love that.
God, this has been great. So, Cleo, you and I, we don't work together enough.
No, not enough. I agree. Same with me and Impulse.
Stupid.
That's fine. But Impulse is always stuck in a hole somewhere.
I'm always stuck in a hole, looking at my stats. I know I don't get out enough. People come find me, and they like yesterday. I was streaming. I was in the Metro Mayhem and in the hole in the ground basically, and I just put in this mod that has echoey, reverby effects. If you're in a cave and stuff, B-Dubs uses it, and I was like, oh, B-Dubs uses that. That's pretty cool. What I didn't know was it affects how people sound in the voice mod.
Oh, so
Pearl comes in. Literally, I'm down in the subway, and there's an echo chamber when Pearl speaks, and she finds me and she's like, and I had just promised my stream that I was going to get stuff done. Like,
Yeah,
we're going to get so much work done on Metro Mayhem today. And Pearl comes by and she's like, no, we're going to go play. We're going to go play Hungry Hermits. Come on,
Hermits.
come be social. So I literally need people to, and I'm like that in real life. We've talked about that on the podcast. I'm like that in real life. My wife literally has to drag me out to go do stuff. And then once I'm out, I love it. I'm like, why don't I volunteer myself to do it? Why does somebody have to drag me out? And I'm that same way in Hermitcraft, I think. Where,
I used
got to drag me out of my hole.
I used to be that way when I was streaming. I used to just like focus in. And then I started living next to Ren and False. And then it just got into be like, and then I just started being like pulled around. And then Scar started coming visiting me on streams. And now I'm just like, I'm going to get stuff done. But first, I see Scar's logged on, so I'm just going to fly over to find out where Scar is. Or Ren just logs on. Like, I cannot keep focus on streams at all, ever, anymore. So it's really bad.
Listen, Cleo, that is what, if I've learned anything, that's what people want.
Yeah.
They want it's a perfect marriage. That's what they want. They want us hanging out. And personally, when I'm on, I want to hang out. I want to mess about. I want to do all that. And the public wants that. Why am I fighting it? Why do I think if I don't get some big project done, I've failed for the day? I have actually the proof is in the numbers. You can go back in my last 10 videos on my VOD channel, and the one that's titled "We Got Stuff Done" is the worst performing one. It's the one that's got a thumbnail of the progress that was made that day. Worst performing one. All the other ones that are just like me messing about with Tango and with Etho and B-dubs, those are the ones that are colossally better than that one. And that's indicative that the people are really, really enjoying the dynamic that we have among each other, which is why I mean it when I say, Cleo, what are we doing? How are we not collaborating more? It's ridiculous.
I don't like coming to, like, I stream a lot when you're on. I don't like coming over to you because you're just like, I'm in the zone. I've got to get this stuff done. And I don't like to interrupt that when people are like that.
Interrupt me, please. I'm begging you, interrupt me. Get in there and mess me up.
I think he's coming around. Like, he fought it at first. Like we would be hanging out and you would just disappear. And I'm like, what's he doing?
Well,
because you went back to work or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And now you're much more, he's much more open now he understands.
Yeah, I understand. I've learned a lot, but also you got to keep in mind in the beginning, I was still working a main job. So when I was on, I was like, I had no time to actually get stuff done. But it doesn't matter. I was wrong. And the bottom line is I was wrong because I was, every time you guys came and it disrupted me, I acted like I didn't like it, but I loved it. And I would look at my camera while I was streaming and be like, guys, I love this. I love it. I love just hanging out with these people. So please, Cleaver, come by and mess about and let's, and then what's going to end up.
That's fine.
Yes, do that.
I will come and bully you.
Do it. I did it to False the other day. I was streaming and I started, and I think False was streaming, and I went invisible and I started hitting her with wind charges. Okay. And I don't know how False did it, but she just turned around. She shot me right in the face.
False.
I was invisible.
Don't mess with False.
She shot me right in the face. It was unbelievable.
So then,
yeah, she's the real deal. So then I said, False, let's go, join me and let's go get Doc. Doc was in his hourglass. False and I went invisible, and her and I had the best time messing with Doc, right? That's what people want. And not only is that what people want, that's what I want to do. Yeah. Right. So yeah, there's a good future for me and Kleebert.
One thing that I found was, the Hermits have been together for the most part, for many, many years now, but we've been together making content together, not necessarily getting to know each other as people. And I think through the course of Skizz and I doing this podcast, we've had now the chance to get to know many hermits and eventually, hopefully, all of them much, much better. And I've seen how that has actually changed the way we're making content with those people, because now we're at a much more comfortable level of like understanding who they are as people, understanding cadences as well as part of it. And just having that even deeper, profound respect for each other, knowing kind of our histories and stuff. And so I feel like that's also going to happen here, Cleo, because like we've been together on Hermitcraft since season 3.5. That's when I came in. But we really haven't done a ton, like we hung out in the live series here and there, but it's not ever really felt like we've done a lot together. But I feel like, after, we get time to get to know each other even more, this stuff's just going to come way more natural, and it's just going to be amazing to produce together.
I'm gonna feel really comfortable coming and bullying both of you.
Yes.
Into
Yeah.
doing what I want. It'll be
Yes.
fine.
Yes.
Can't wait
I
to be
know.
bullied.
It's all in jest, and it sounds like, I mean, but it is the absolute truth,
Yeah.
and I'm going to do it too. Oh, believe me. Next time that Cleabert thinks that, you know, she's focused doing on something,
no.
I'm coming in, I'm smoking her with
got an
a single
Honestly,
shot.
Arms race
When
between
you
you two.
came-
The server's
came
in
in-
trouble.
When you came in with the bells, when you did the reaping, that was so much fun. I had so much fun with that. It was like immediate, just like I'm going to do everything I can to make Skizz feel guilty about this.
She did too. She really did. And it was so funny. It's like I put on the voice modulator, so it made my voice like real deep or whatever. And I was like, "You will be banished to the, you know, the outer world or whatever." And she's like, "Well, how are you going to do that?" I'm all, "I don't really know. We're working out the details." And she just starts cracking up. Dude.
That's hilarious.
That's the thing. It's the whole challenge authority. It's just like
Yeah.
you don't submit immediately to anything. You have to challenge all the authority. Otherwise, what's the fun? It's just like, yes, sir, no, sir.
Yeah, no,
No,
absolutely.
can't do that. Can't do
There's
that.
a
Absolutely.
theater
Not in
kid
my
coming
nature.
out. You got the yes and
Yeah.
completely down.
You got improv, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm very much. I'm like, as of this very moment, like right now, we're doing the podcast, but it's like I wish I was on the server and Cleo was on the server so I could just go mess with her. Right
Yeah,
now.
like I'm totally jazzed and excited to do more collaborations with each other now. It's amazing what just spending a little time with each other can do.
Yep.
So, and
forward
speaking
to
of,
it.
I mean, yeah, this has been fantastic, Cleo. Thanks for giving us your time
Yeah,
today.
appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
It's been a pleasure having you, and we say this to a lot of our guests. Like we do these kind of initial, like our first time with somebody on. We kind of like do a get to know you session so that our you know our viewers and stuff can hear your backgrounds and get to know you a little better too. But we have the vision, Skizz and I do, that we want to do more directive guests kind of hangouts to where it's like maybe it's talking about teaching, maybe it's talking about how you format a campaign in D&D, you know, as we learn more about it. Like things like that could be on the future.
Specialists.
If you would be willing to come back when we come up with these kind of things, it would be our pleasure to have you back someday.
Yeah, I can talk about teaching in D&D for as long as you want.
Perfect.
God, I want to get her and Tango in a room to talk
know.
about D&D so
I know.
bad.
I just want to be a fly on the wall.
I
and
know.
like
That would be
absorb
great.
it. Yeah,
And
maybe
Joe,
that's
Joe's
it.
Great. Joe's great about D&D as well. Joe plays
Is
a lot
he?
as well. Yeah.
Okay.
The Imp and Skizz podcast where we just sit and learn about D&D from our fellow hermits would be fun.
And this is where I would say maybe we do D&D, but I feel like anybody who does it would be able to just start laughing and be like, "What? Do you have 6 hours?" Because my understanding is like it can go sometimes weeks if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
My current
Tango has
campaign
mentioned.
has lasted 2 years.
What?
Jeez.
2
But
years?
you can do one. You can do one shots though. That's easy enough done. But yeah, 2 years is my current campaign that I've been GMing.
insane.
If we started Klebert's D&D campaign on episode 1 of the Imp and Skizz podcast, we'd be wrapping up right about now. It's been 2 years. That's
Insane. That's awesome.
What
That's
in the
so cool.
world?
And then like, gosh, I just feel like a campaign that goes that long. Like if you just like wrote a novel about everything that happened in that campaign, that would be a perfect fantasy story,
I could
wouldn't
not write a novel about most of the stuff that happens in that campaign. My players are feral. So
it? Okay.
it goes wild.
I can't wait. I can't wait to learn more about it.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'll ever like fully get into it. It sounds like it's very time consuming.
yeah,
but
that's my thing. So I
Yeah.
told, because I actually am interested in Tango is a man of his word, and I got an invite to his very next one, and I couldn't make it. I literally could. It was like that Friday. I was like, I actually can't be there because there was a football game, and I couldn't be there. And I don't know if he's had one since, but there is a part of me that's like, since I already have no time for anything, why would I sign up for something like that? And it's because I'm just that curious. I got to know about this.
Yeah, I want to at least learn about it for
Yeah.
sure, even if I don't end up being a player in the end. But
Right.
so yeah, like I said, we'd love to have you back sometime. We're working out the details on those future episodes, but it's definitely something we've been talking about for a while. And every time we have a guest on, we just want them to come back, you know, like because we have so much fun hanging out with everybody, and you've been an absolute pleasure. So thanks again, Cleo, for joining us.
Thank you so much, Cleo, for your time.
Thank you
You're
for
amazing.
having me. It's been great. I love it.
And we'll let you get some food and stuff. We gotta wrap up because it's Hermitcraft meeting day today. So
fun.
We'll give you some time to rest up, and then we'll go do our Hermitcraft meeting together and talk business instead of personal stuff.
I will see you on the server, Cleo.
Yeah,
you
this
will.
Is happening.
That's a threat.
All right, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
See you later, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.